All right, we're live. All right, welcome back, everybody. Today is Monday, November 18th, and we are squatting. So today is going to be 3 heavy doubles at 345. And then, of course, as always, the last set is going to be as many reps as possible. After we're done with squats, we're going to do front squats for 3 sets of 5. We're going to do deadlifts where we pause at the sticking point for 3 sets of 5, and then we're going to knock out some barbell rows. Not a whole lot of volume today. The point is for it to be heavy. So let's get started. We're going to warm up. So normally I just warm up by taking the barbell and doing a few reps. That said, with squats, my hips and knees don't really have the mobility that I wish they did. So I'm going to do a little bit more warming up than you know what I'll do on other days. Right now we're just getting in the bottom position and trying to open up our hips a little bit. Otherwise, I have a hard time hitting that. All right. Dropping up to 225. We're at 315. We're going to sit for a minute. So I misspoke earlier. I said that the working sets were going to be 345. It's 340. And I know it's only 5 pounds, but it matters. Basically, once again, be as many reps as possible on the last set. The point of that is to get next week's weights. So if I go, 345 instead of 340, it might cost me a rep, which would, throw off the calculator later on. So better just be accurate, not overreach. I have to,
save some gas in the tank for Thursday because I'm going to be deadlifting. So that's one of the things you have to take into account when you're trying to lift for strength. Is you want to challenge yourself, but you also have to walk that line where you can recover before the next workout. Otherwise, you're just gonna red line and hurt yourself or stall, or set yourself back. So it takes a little bit of discipline. Something I didn't get when I was younger. All right, let's do our first set of 2. All right, so that's set 1 of 3. I'm just gonna chill for a minute. The elastic in my head is worn out. So one of the frustrating things about this is, I'm gonna sound like a boomer, but I used to be able to squat 405 for a set of 5. And I found that I was having trouble hitting depth barely by like half an inch or something. So last year I lowered all the weight off the bar, and I basically went to trying to re-teach myself to squat. Which means, until May of this year, I didn't squat more than like 300 pounds for 7 or 8 months, just because I was trying to get, ass to grass range of motion with, for 8 to 10 reps. I was doing a more of a bodybuilding program, and it gassed me and it worked. I mean, I don't know. My legs they didn't really grow, which was a bummer. Probably because of the way I squatted, more hips and hamstrings and quads. If I had a leg extension, that would be cool. But yeah, it cost me a lot of weight on the bar. So part of what I'm doing in this program is just trying to get myself back up into that 400-pound squat range. So, working with like 340 here is a little frustrating when I know what I was squatting and what I probably could be squatting if I would have just stuck to a, strength program. But, sometimes the answer is bigger quads. So there's that. All right, well, we've been resting about 2 minutes. Not out of breath. I mean, you're probably not going to get very out of breath doing doubles, but want to make sure you're fully recovered, ready to hit the next set. We're going to hit another set of 2, and then we're going to rest, and then the third set is going to be AMRAP. So, which of course stands for as many reps as possible. I don't know, we'll see how this one feels, but right now I'm thinking probably 5 or 6 is going to be what I end up hitting there. We'll see. Oh, I'm sure the camera's going to show it. You guys probably saw it before I will, but it felt like that second right there was a little harder. I let my weight come forward. I came off my center of gravity, which sucks. Made it harder than it should have been. Maybe even about 3 minutes here. Yeah, I'm thinking 6 might be what we end up getting today. Whew. Then, of course, as soon as that's done, we're going to lower the weight on the bar. For front squats, not trying to be a hero on that one, so I'm probably not going to do 3 sets of 5 and 205. Not good at front squats. Building those up, but I've only been doing them about 6 weeks here. And when I say for 6 weeks, I mean for like 3 sets once a week. So if I really wanted to crush front squats, I would program them in more often, but I don't like doing them. It probably means I should do them more, but I don't have a coach telling me otherwise, so I'm gonna continue to just do them, the bare minimum. That's the spirit. Probably wasn't a quad, but halfway through the rest, 90 seconds left. Forty seconds remain. What do we got here? A little dry mouth. Can't find my water bottle. I'll survive, but I'm gonna boo-hoo about it. Probably boo-hoo about it more after this next set. All right. Four. 5. Hoping I don't have to show you how to bail out. All right. So it was only 6, which I guess was my goal. Still a little disappointed. Uh, feel like I could have done more. So I guess it wasn't a true AMRAP, but I feel myself coming out of position and the reps were just getting sloppier. I'm sure you could see that. I'm going to catch my breath for a minute. We're going to go into front squats. There's a couple different ways to rack the bar for front squats. You can do the rack position where you basically have the bar in your hands and you put your elbows up and hold it right there on your collarbone. Requires quite a bit of thoracic extension and flexibility in your wrists, elbows, and shoulders. And I can do it, but my wrists always hurt afterwards. So some of the other options, if you can't get into that position comfortably, you can cross your arms. I think that's called like California style or something. And hold the bar like that. Or what I like to do is, since I have the straps, is I'm going to attach them to the bar and kind of use them as handles. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second here. Yeah, it should be good. So just loop the wrist strap around the bar, and I grab these like handles. Oh, oh. So that was set 1 of 3. Front squats are a little different than the low bar squats I do, in that having the bar, basically on your clavicle, it forces a more upright position of your trunk throughout the movement. So it takes away a lot of the action from your hips. So your glutes, hips, hamstrings, and it puts it on your quadriceps. It also affects bracing a little differently. So it works your core because it's harder to brace in that front rack position. And it helps build some of your upper back musculature too. So a lot of good stuff in it. But they're hard. And having a barbell on your trachea will gas you pretty quick. Makes it hard to breathe under those. That's kind of the point. Just once again, the purpose of an assistance exercise is to help facilitate strength gains in your main lifts. So since the squat itself doesn't hit the quads quite the same, the front squat helps to give them some more stimulus to help them grow and strengthen, which will then contribute to your main squat better in the bracing portion and strengthening in your upper back and shoulders. Actually helps carry over your deadlift too, I've been finding. Strengthens the whole shoulder girdle area and just helps you maintain position under larger weights, and it just makes them feel a little lighter. At least that's my opinion. But gosh, I think
All right, that's 2 minutes. Come on. Don't be a bitch. So, sure you can see it on that one. Bar was starting to slip on my left side. One of the things, if you don't brace properly, if you don't keep your back upright, you're going to dump the weight forward. So, evidence would suggest that I did not maintain that upright torso throughout the movement like I was supposed to. Which is great feedback, right? So last week I was doing I'm just thinking about what I'm going to try for rows. Last week I did 225 for sets of 12. I think I got about 4 sets in there, so a total of 48 reps across. Thinking I'm going to bump that up to 250 for sets of 8, and try for 3 or 4 sets of 8, so between 24 and 32 reps. And then Thursday when I do rows again, I'm going to try to do more than that. So I'll probably shoot for sets of 8 today, and then when I come back and do it on Thursday, I'll shoot for sets of 10 to 12. So that's how I'll break it up. I'm going to try and tighten my belt for this one. That should be okay. We'll go 5 out and we'll be done. Come on.
Jocking up a little bit. So, I know, excuse me, just running my mouth about barbell rows. But before I do that, I'm going to do pause deadlifts. So these are my favorite accessory movement for building a big deadlift. Basically, what I'm going to do is take the bar and I'm going to bring it up to my sticking point, which is right below knee level. I'm going to hang out there for a second or so. And then after hanging out there, I'm going to finish the rep. So it's going to be up, pause, mid rep, then finish it out. It kind of helps wake up your ass, to help get it involved with the overall lift, which, you know, is important for finishing up the deadlift overall. But I find that when I do these, the weight just moves a lot better on conventional regular deadlifts. Right? So got 405 loaded on the bar. It's going to be 3 sets of 5. Whew. And then we'll do rows after that, and that should be a wrap for today. That'll get you sweaty. Rest for 2 minutes or so before hitting the next one. Once again, the goal isn't to go all out on these. If you know about RPE or rate of perceived effort, it's supposed to be like a 7 this week. So theoretically, at the end of every set, you should have like 3 reps left in the tank. So by no means an all-out effort, but it should be difficult, right? So, for example, you know, this is 405, but last time I did a deadlift max, it was I hit 545. So this might look like, you know, some people this is all they can do, 405, which is respectful deadlift to go. Don't get me wrong, but what I guess the point I'm trying to make is don't try to do this with your max. Shoot for like, you know, 70 or 80%, especially if you're just starting out with them. I'm going to tell you, these are what got me over the hump to 500 in the first place. I was stuck at 475 for a while. And then I started incorporating these. My deadlift just blew up after that. So definitely something to check out. I don't need to count my chickens because I haven't survived this workout yet, right? But tomorrow, about the same time, we will be shooting for it should be bench on paper. It's bench press day, so 3 heavy sets of 2. Uh, if you watched on Friday, you're gonna be crying about a hurt pack. Um, I might do overhead press tomorrow and push bench to Friday just to give it a couple more days to recover. But either way, tomorrow's upper body. Should be a good time. But like I said, I haven't survived today yet, so let's get through this first. Ooh, so around 2 or 3 there, I noticed something felt a little off about the movement. Then I realized I'm still wearing my shoes. I deadlifted in these shoes for a long time, but about 4 or 5 months ago, I started lifting barefoot, and it just feels better. And now I know why I felt weird. I'm still wearing my shoes. Already knocked out 2 of my 3 sets with them on, so I'm just gonna power through with the rest. But you know, just some things to pay attention to. The squat shoes have a bit of a heel on them, so my bottom position in the deadlift is actually further forward than what I've gotten used to with my barefoot variation. So the bar is actually drifting away from me after it breaks to the ground, which I can compensate for. I know how to compensate for it. Just one of the things that I had to forget about. And if you notice, I kind of skipped any warm up reps. I just went right into a loaded bar on this. So if I would have warmed up a little bit, I would have noticed it earlier on. But it is what it is. So we're just going to power through. Good. It's a novel stimulus. Also, well, I'm waiting another minute here. So these Serious Steel figure 8 wraps, had them for like 3 years and they're great. One thing I will say though, and this is no fault of the wrap, it's more of a feature of that Texas power bar that I'm using, but the knurling on that bar is very aggressive. And as you can see from just doing front squats a little while, what you saw, the knurling is actually starting to chew through these. So if you are going to do the strap method that I was talking about earlier, just be aware your barbell might start eating through them. And this was a rope in air assault school. It would be non-serviceable. You'd have to throw it out. I said, I'm cheap. Don't want to pony up $20 for a new one, and they're still working just fine for me. So I'm going to continue to run with these until they're chewed through a little bit more. And then, to be honest, as soon as these are dead, I'm going to buy a new pair of the same ones. I really like them. Whew. But yeah, that Texas power bar knurling is no joke. You'll leave skin on the barbell. There's my heavier vol or my higher volume deadlift days. My shins will be bleeding at the end of them. So it's something to take into consideration. It's cool. I've got lines on my shins where just hair doesn't grow. I just have bubble patches from where the bar has been rubbing against them for years. So one thing to look at, be like, hey, does that guy have a good deadlift? Check his shins, check his hands, check his shoulders and neck. All right, that's 2.5 minutes. So I'm gonna knock out 5 more reps and then we'll be done with the pause deadlifts. And then we'll get into those barbell rows. Finish her out from there. Hoping on a haircut by deadlift day too. I know that was a non sequitur. My hat's not fitting quite right, which gets me thinking about my hair being too long, which has me planning a haircut. So stay tuned for Thursday, where we'll be doing doubles at 5:05 with a fresh haircut. And just a reminder, these barbell rows, they're not super technical. I'm in a heavy period. So for me, these are heavy, which means form's going to be a little sloppy. And it's okay. In 6 weeks, when I'm starting my big cycle over, I'll lighten the weight. We'll have surgical precision. Best form you've ever seen. At that lighter weight with a higher volume. So, time and place, seasonality. Tremendous barbell row.
One sec. Someday we'll have somebody hanging out with us on these. Probably should start advertising them. It's kind of going live like a flash mob, but I'm the only one who knows about the flash mob. Or that was strategic. One, I want to make sure I get the technical aspects on how to work this figured out before I invite a whole bunch of people to it, and then can't figure out how to work it right. So got a couple reps in on just how to get the stream started. Probably gonna order a microphone or something so you guys can just hear me fucking panting with the microphone. I don't know about that one. But at least, you know, the sound will be better. And then, yeah, so figure out the technical part. And then the third one was just feeling less awkward talking to nobody. So still, I mean, you can hear it in my voice. It's still pretty awkward. But at least I don't feel as self-conscious. So wanted to get those jitters out of the way first before starting to bring in the crowds. All right, we're 90 seconds in. I'm gonna give it about another minute. 45 seconds from now. Then we'll go and get set number 2. We're still kind of breathing heavy. And with heavier, you know, 45-second rest periods have their place, especially in like a hypertrophy program where you're just trying to build density and volume into the lifts. You know, you're not really using heavy weights. You're working single muscle groups at a time, and you're doing it for, you know, 8 to 12 reps for 4 to 6 sets across. Fine for 45 seconds because you're not really caring about the weight you're hitting. It's just about time under tension for that muscle. There's a little bit more systemic fatigue that you accumulate, which is great for driving, you know, adaptations from like a neural point of view. Like this helps your brain get more juice to the muscles on the contraction. It also just convinces your body like, hey, I gotta get stronger. It helps with efficiency of muscle fibers firing at once to transmit force. And you know, there's just a lot of people you've probably never really seen somebody who was skinny and strong, except for like in the Olympics, right? There are the freaks out there, but for the most part, you can pick a strong guy out. That's where heavy lifting comes in. Ocho. It's 2. So, I think I'm just doing 3 by 8 today.
So just between sets thinking about in YouTube back when I first started going to the gym. The entire YouTube community was like Dom Mazzetti and Elliot Hulse. And Dom would give out his road science, but he'd make it funny and entertaining. At the same time, we used to quote them all the time, hitting the gym, calling it church. Oh, stuff like that. But it was probably Elliot in his early stuff. He used to just sit here with a camera like this, and he would answer questions and rattle things off the top of his head. And he would get in, he'd bust out like the whiteboard, sit there without a shirt on, and just talk at the camera about different kinds of like muscle hypertrophy. So you got myofibular and what's the other one? Myofibular hypertrophy and plasma. One is an increased density in the muscle fibers. The other one is an increase in the size of the fibers themselves. I'm going to read up on that, and then I'll get back to you tomorrow on which one's which. Myofibular, that's the one where there's more muscle fibers, just more density of it. Golly, I cannot remember for the life of me what the other one is, where there's just a thickening of the individual fibers. That's what the time under tension will get you. That's what bodybuilders are going for. If you watch this in 10 years and you know the answer, just drop it in the chat or in the comments. Not sure how chats work, ex post facto, but we'll find out. We'll get there. All right, let's get this last set in. All right. So that's a wrap. I'm going to turn the camera off and get cleaned up here. I won't make you stick with me through that. Whew. But thanks for coming. Join me tomorrow at 11:30 Central Time for some upper body. It's either going to be bench or overhead press. But whatever it is, I promise you I'll be barely adequate at it. That said, we'll see you then. And this is Max Deadlift signing off.